Thanks for coming out on the holiday season on this chilly morning. We've got a good agenda for you this morning. Several things going on. You're going to get some updates from Russell on road activity, as I'm sure many of you are interested in. But Amanda will start up with upcoming events. In her report, David's going to talk about special projects and operations. Of course, the ongoing water tower issues with cell service. Give you some forest preserve updates. Toby will talk about safety and security. As you can tell, he's got a long agenda. And I'll give actually a report for Victoria. She is out sick today, and talk about the hurricane assessment information and the 2020 assessment billing reminder. So with that, I'd like to introduce Ryan Cash. Ryan, would you stand up for us? Ryan. Information is right here for you. He just started Monday, so he's well into here with CSA. Thanks, Ryan, and welcome aboard. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amanda. Amanda, would you like to come up and talk about upcoming events?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming this morning. My name is Amanda Sutcliffe-Jones. I am your CSA Director of Communications. I'd like to go over some upcoming events. David will cover these in a little bit more detail, but just so you have all the information in front of you, save the date for the property owner open house coming on December 10th, Wreaths Across America on December 14th at noon. Oh, that would be helpful if I had it in front of you, wouldn't it? So sorry, there we go. Okay, upcoming holiday office hours for the CSA Administration Office. On Christmas, we are closing at noon. On the 23rd, we will be closed on Tuesday, the 24th, and December 25th as well for the Christmas holiday. We will return to normal operating hours on December 26th, which is Thursday at 7:30 a.m. New Year's hours, you can see there as well, closing at noon on the 31st of December, closed on Wednesday the 1st for the holiday, and returning to normal operating hours at the CSA Administration Office on the 2nd of January, starting at 7:30. We would like to take a moment to wish everybody a happy and safe Christmas and New Year's. We also hope they had a very happy Thanksgiving. Election information. So we're going to cover CSA and ASPO Board of Director election information. As you guys know, we have 3 director openings for the CSA Class A Board of Directors and 3 directors positions open for the ASPO Board of Directors. Those positions become available on January 1st, 2020. Your candidates for each of the ASPO and CSA boards are up in front of you. So the ASPO candidates that appeared on the ballot were David Ellis, Dana Gazzo, and Grover Todd. The 2020 CSA Class A residential board candidates appearing on the ballot, Deidre Capricott, Dave Borghese, David Ellis, David Pardue, and Bob Quinn. Some important reminders for those elections themselves. The date of record was October 1st, so you had to have been a member of ASPO, which is a voluntary membership organization, by October 1st. The date of record for CSA was also October 1st. November 1st is when we mailed those ballots out. December 1st, which is just this past Sunday, was the date that they must have been postmarked to be returned to Elliott Davis. So Elliott Davis is our third-party CPA that counts those ballots and provides us with those results. Currently, the auditor, Elliott Davis, is still making those tabulations, is still counting those ballots. Once Elliott Davis provides the official results to CSA and ASPO, the chairman contact the board candidates to make sure they are aware that they have been selected and to make those notifications. And then following those notifications to the candidates, CSA will use our communication channels to announce the results to the community. So we are looking forward to getting those. Again, if you would like to still learn more about your candidates, that information is still available on our website for ASPO candidates. It's cpinesliving.com/ASPO candidates. For CSA candidates, cpinesliving.com/CSA candidates. The bylaw vote for ASPO was also a combined vote in the ASPO ballot itself. So that was also 1 ballot, 2 votes. For ASPO was the top vote was the board of directors, and the bottom vote was the bylaws. Same with that, those numbers are still being tabulated by Elliott Davis. Once those counts for the ASPO bylaw are completed, Elliott Davis will provide those official results to ASPO. ASPO will then notice CSA, and we will use our communication channels to notice the community of the results for the ASPO bylaw vote. This is something that I just want to make sure we're all aware of. If you have any change in your address, if you consider yourself to be a snowbird and maybe just 6 months out of the year and see pines in 6 months somewhere else, please let us know when you change your address. We don't have any automated way of knowing that you've gone from point A to point B. We do have to be noticed, so we can change your notice of mailing address. So our next scheduled mailing from the communications department will be our proxy mailing. We will be doing the mailing for the assessments as well from the finance department. So that's a pretty important thing. We send those bills to the notice of mailing that we have on record for you. So if you've moved, if you've changed addresses recently, just feel free to reach out to us. There's a couple different ways to do that. You can give us a call Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can email our general inbox at info@csacpines.com, or you can always stop by the administration office and we'll be happy to update that information for you. At this point, I'd like to welcome David Henderson, our Director of Special Projects and Operations, and I do want to make sure that everybody has a safe and happy holiday. Thanks again.
Thank you, Amanda, and good morning, everyone. For those of you that have been coming to the coffees for the last year plus, you've seen this slide almost every single time. In fact, recently I personally bestowed the status of Herpes Project to this because it just won't go away. But I'm cautiously optimistic that this will be the last slide that you'll have to see on the water tower. But just to bring you up to speed, at Tower Beach, 3 of the 4 providers have relocated back to the water tower. T-Mobile is the one that we're waiting on. They originally were going to try to do the work this week. I don't have an update currently from them, but they are in the market, as they say. And to the best of my understanding, the work should be done soon, after which that temporary monopole, which was installed, will be down. So we're hoping that this will be behind us going forward. Did want to tell you about our property owner holiday open house. This is our 6th annual event. It is 6 days from today. So it is Tuesday, December 10th, 3 to 6 p.m. Tower Beach. We'll have hors d'oeuvres, beer and wine, water, soda. The parking at Tower Beach is limited. If you are planning on attending, encourage you to carpool, walk, or bike if you are within range. And we will be overflow parking at Parcel 1, which is down toward the entrance to Land's End. And we will be providing trolley service from there during the event. It's a good event. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, and hopefully you can come out and have some fellowship with your neighbors and have an opportunity to meet and interact with staff. Wanted to give a thank you from the bonfire to our sponsors and attendees. We had our 9th annual event. It was on Friday, November 8th. Hopefully see some familiar faces, some attendees that were there. The weather was really sketchy up until that morning, but the skies cleared. The wind was not nearly as bad as predicted, and it was actually a very, very nice evening for the event and perfect to be around the 2 bonfires that we had going. I just wanted to give some acknowledgments. Wanted to let Lori Allenbach, Rosemary Kimball, and Pam Green of the Forest Preserve Advisory Board a thank you for providing the decorations for the event. We also wanted to thank the silent auction contributors and those that bid and on these silent auction items. The event would not have been made possible without our sponsors, and you see their logos here. I do want to give a special shout out to the Salty Dog. They provided excellent service, excellent food, and all was provided at no cost to the Forest Preserve Foundation. So they had a fantastic menu, and we really, really appreciate the quality product and service that they delivered. I also wanted to give a few other acknowledgments: CSA staff, security, and maintenance. There are many people that make this event possible. My better half made the desserts again. Shelton, Mr. Shelton Vineyards donated all the wine again. So there were a lot of entities and groups that come together to pull this event off for the Forest Preserve, and just wanted to say thank you. And always looking ahead to next year. The event is always the second Friday in November. Second Friday in November. Continuing with some Forest Preserve updates, our annual solicitation letter has gone out. Those contributions that you make allow us to operate the Forest Preserve, allows us to make capital improvements. The Sea Pines Forest Preserve Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit. We rely heavily on the generosity of others to give our natural treasure the care that it deserves. The Forest Preserve does not get any direct money from CSA or anyone else. The majority of the budget is from philanthropy, the generosity of others. We do have a few other revenue sources from user fees, from Lawton Stables, and some of the other operations that are out there, but we do rely heavily on your generosity. If you did not receive a letter, or if you threw it away not knowing what it was, you can make a contribution. You can either drop it off at CSA, or you can mail it to us, 175 Greenwood Drive, Hilton Head 29928, and ask that you do consider us as you're contemplating end of year giving. If you do contribute $75 or more as part of the annual drive, we will mail you a copy of the 2020 Forest Preserve calendar. Later, I'll be sticking around, and I have a copy if anybody would like to peruse it and see, but the photography is fantastic from James Hartley Smith, all taken in the Forest Preserve. And again, if you contribute 75 or more during the annual drive, you will receive a copy of that in the mail. Our big capital improvement project, if you received your Forest Preserve letter and you read it, this was identified as our big project for 2020. We've actually been working here and there on this prior to Hurricane Matthew, believe it or not, but it's finally coming to fruition. And I just wanted to give you a brief update as to what the scope of the project is. A little hard to see with the light, but to get you oriented, this is Greenwood Drive. This is Heritage Farm, Lawton Stables. There's a service road that is primarily used by CSA and South Island PST staff. But they access the CSA maintenance facility, which is here, and the South Island Public Service District wastewater treatment plant here. By the service road, they go over the bridge right there, and they go down Lawton Canal Road. So that's just to get you oriented, and keep this in mind as I go to the next couple of slides. The photo on the left is showing Greenwood Drive is behind you. So there's the existing leisure trail that crosses the service road here. Again, Greenwood Drive is here. And you can see how the service road goes in, goes around. You can't see it, but the vehicular bridge as well as a pedestrian bridge, there are currently two bridges that are there, are just beyond those trees. Current practice is that the horses which cross from Lawton Stables at this point over Greenwood Drive, we have the service vehicles, we have pedestrians, we have bicyclists, and they currently are all using the service road or along the service road to get into the Forest Preserve. Let me back up. I wanted to show you the bridge. This is the existing vehicular bridge, very industrial looking. It's a good, solid, engineered bridge, but was not designed with aesthetics or general public use in mind. This shows the whole scope of the project. It's an engineered drawing, but the point is that there's a good bit of activity going on right at Greenwood Drive. There are a series of 4 gravel pull-offs that will be installed. Those are necessary because the service road and along Lawton Canal Road is essentially a one-lane road. And just like it is when you go in the Forest Preserve, you need to have some pull-offs so you see oncoming traffic. One of you, depending on who is best able to get over and out of the way, can allow the other vehicle to pass. And this is the entrance onto Fish Island Trail. If you are familiar with that, it's a raised island. There's quite a few trees on it, but it is configured for current use, which is vehicles come from the Ocean Gate side in order to get to the Forest Preserve. So they're coming in from this way and taking a right on the Fish Island Trail, because we are going to change this service road to the main driving entrance traffic will now be coming in from the other way. So that island has got to be reconfigured to allow that to happen. A couple reasons as to why we're doing this project. If you are not familiar with the Forest Preserve and you're trying to drive, whether it's to go to picnic or photography or to hike, it's difficult to find. You have to come in off of Lawton, several turns. The commercial operators that are out there, the fishing tours, the alligator wildlife and boat tours, they have a very difficult time trying to describe to their customers where they need to go. There is no address that you can put in your GPS that will take you turn by turn to get you to where you need to be. It's not unusual to see people in strange places looking around, not knowing what to do, and you're constantly letting people know, hey, where are you trying to get to, and to give them directions. So one of the primary purposes of this project is to get it to where it is visible. It's on Greenwood Drive. That's where the majority of our traffic is. And it also, because I pointed out earlier where the South Island Public Service District wastewater treatment plant is, you go right by that currently. And especially in the summertime, and especially when the wind's blowing the right or wrong direction, that first impression you get is not the first impression that we would like to convey. So by coming in from the other way, you would bypass the CSA maintenance facility, you bypass South Island Public Service District. It's also important to note that in order to get to the driving entrance where it currently is, the majority of vehicles are coming from Greenwood Drive. And so how do they get there? A lot of them cut down Tupelo Road. A few of them may go down to Lighthouse and then come back up, but they're going over their shoulder to get to their backside and often going through residential areas in order to get there. So we're hoping to alleviate some of that with this improvement. This is a close-up at the entrance, and I just wanted to let you know that this is the existing service road here. There is a slight change in footprint. The shaded area here is a new service road. The geometry is being changed to allow for two-way traffic to come in and out at the intersection with Greenwood Drive, and then quickly ties back in with the existing service road here. So there is a slight change in footprint. This will be demolished. The existing service road, this stretch will be demolished. One of the more important adds is that there is a new leisure trail shown here, and it will connect with the pedestrian bridge, which was just completely redone by Russell last year. It looks great right here. The horses will continue to wear a footpath underneath the power line, and we are hoping, if we're able to secure funding, to actually build a third new bridge that would be dedicated for horses. And if we are able to do that, we're taking what is already currently a congested area and separating out the conveyances as best we can. So we'd like cars to be on the road using the vehicular bridge, pedestrians and bicyclists to be on the new leisure trail, then using the leisure trail bridge to get across, and then the horses having their own path and their own bridge. So that's the intent of the project. We are currently seeking permits from the town. We've applied in early October. We've received some feedback from them. Nothing that on its surface appears to be of significant concern. We're addressing those questions and clarifications that they requested. It is our anticipation that we will have a permit very soon, and then we will start construction shortly thereafter. The first thing that we will most likely do is to take those railings on that vehicular bridge that I showed you earlier, and those are going to be aesthetically improved. The height will be lowered about a foot, still within code. Those heavy timbers, some of them will be substituted with heavier duty stainless steel cabling. There still will be some timbers there, but the intent is to make it look a little bit better and also make it easier to see through the bridge, which is very difficult to do now. This is my last slide. Amanda mentioned it earlier. I'd just like to touch again. Six Oaks Cemetery does participate in the Wreaths Across America program. It's a nationwide program. Specifically to Six Oaks, this will be our 10th year of participation. It is on Saturday, December 14th. There is a brief ceremony at 12 noon, after which attendees will have the opportunity to place wreaths on the graves of every veteran that is in Six Oaks Cemetery. It's a great patriotic event. I encourage you, if you've not come to it, to come. Again, that's Saturday, December 14th at 12 noon at Six Oaks. That's all I have, and I'll turn it over to Russell. Thank you.
Good morning. Hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. We'll get into our presentation, and I just had one request for everybody. If you have any extra Christmas tree ornaments, if you could just please place them on David's tree. It does need some decorations. Are you putting decorations on this? Okay. It's been challenging to get David in the Christmas spirit this year, but I don't know. Anyway. Greenwood Drive, what we're calling Greenwood Drive Phase 2 from Governor's Road to Plantation Drive, was part of our original scope of work when we were working on Greenwood Drive Phase 1 from Club Course Drive to Governor's, and part of our approved budgets. We've since started this project. You saw silt fence and tree protection go in just before Thanksgiving, and I do apologize as the overall aesthetic is not terribly pleasing. It was necessary to get us off on the right foot from a scheduling perspective with all the processes that we do have to go through with the town. And you can see here's the highlighted area from Governor's Road down to Plantation Drive intersection. We're expecting this work to take approximately 14 weeks, and that includes some landscaping as well that we have to do part and parcel of the project along the roadway once we're complete with construction. And just here's a map showing again the highlighted area. Amanda's pushed out several communications. We're executing this work during daytime hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. What we're referring to as single lane closures, meaning traffic will flow more than likely in both directions through this area. In a single lane, we'll have to stop traffic on either side of the project or work area. There may be times that we have to allow just for one-way traffic inbound. We'll push these communications and notifications out as needed, but our goal is to maintain traffic in both directions. But again, we really need to see how this goes during various aspects of the project, as this area, as Plantation Drive intersection meets Greenwood, is going to be quite challenging with demolition and other aspects of the work in that area. Again, some of the project goals: reconstruction of Greenwood Drive, stabilizing the roadbed, removing curbing in selected areas, improving traffic flow and safety is always our #1 goal. And I think we've accomplished that. And I'll have a drawing here of Plantation Drive intersection to share. Addressing our drainage issues, as everyone knows, is essential. And then we also have some vehicular and pedestrian guardrails we'll be replacing as part of this work. Some of the current conditions on Greenwood Drive, as many are familiar with: deteriorating road surfaces, cracked curbing. You can see here that these flumes were provided on Greenwood Drive when this curbing was installed, causing erosion and also not helping out with drainage much at all along the road. Who's that? Again, talking about construction phase 2, this is a photo of the Greenwood Plantation Drive intersection, the farm across the road. This existing traffic island where these hollies were planted years ago, I believe they were actually decorated at the Christmas time. This island is being removed. Some other curbing is being placed in this roadway to, again, improve safety. And again, sharing this reconfiguration of the intersection, one of the things that we did look at was a traffic circle, both with our engineers and the town head and other consultants. And the logistics of a traffic circle were not able to be accomplished through the engineering designs. So this is the resolution that we reached, and I think it's a great one. You can see here there's some additional islands that are going to be added, a concrete island here. This turning lane is being extended about another 100 feet or so up Greenwood Drive to allow the stacking of vehicles. There'll be a new curb here. So your through traffic is going to proceed down Greenwood Drive towards Fraser Circle. Anyone going to Harbor Town is going to be in this dedicated lane here making this right turn, as well as traffic heading towards Plantation Drive will now be in this channelized island here, as well as if you're coming out for Plantation Drive and making this left, you're going to be between these two curbs and give the vehicles a chance to accelerate and or stop at this location here in the roadway. So again, all good improvements to this intersection. and hopefully it will improve traffic safety and overall vehicular flow. Along the Lawton Canal area, as I mentioned, we're replacing the pedestrian guardrail, and it's going to look something like this. This was we recently built down in the Baynard Park area. It's going to be 42 inches in height and have the horizontal stainless steel cables. And our ARB has already approved all this design work for this for the railing over by Lawton Canal. Switching gears for a moment to Lighthouse Road. Progress has been a little slow so far, but we are working down close to the Harbortown parking lot, which is in this end here. We just moved yesterday towards the resort. There's a large gravel parking lot over by Lighthouse Lane in this area here where we're working now. We're expecting this work to be complete most likely in mid-February at this point, given some of the challenges that we've had with utility lines and other issues. Just a few photos of what we've been up against here. Again, you can see some of the utilities in the ground that we've been challenged with in the Harbortown area, as we did expect it, but there's certainly more conflicts along this roadway. Plantation Drive Leisure Trail, we recently resurfaced, and just wanted to remind everyone, and I think I've showed the slides before, we're installing a brick paver pull-off here in front of the Leisure Trail kiosk. Again, this is to provide access to the kiosk and allow bikers and pedestrians to kind of pull off and read the map and obtain a map of sea pines and continue on their way. Town of Hilton Head stormwater projects are in a couple are in progress, including Lawton Canal. And I know I've received a lot of questions about Canvasback Road, the continued flooding. We are working with the town on some resolution there. Some other issues that continue to turn up, Mizzenmast Lane and Lighthouse Lane. I have a photo of that to share. And then there's some drainage work that needs to take place on South Beach Lane that the town's going to work on between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Here's a photo of the drainage at Mizzenmast and Lighthouse, and hard to tell from this photo, but the pipes essentially perforated about halfway up on both sides, causing seepage of stormwater out of the pipe and seepage of groundwater into the pipe. So this condition exists throughout the entire most of the Harbortown area, particularly on Mizzenmast and Lighthouse Lane, and will continue to present challenges to our community in terms of executing these repairs. Holiday displays. As you could tell, I was more in the spirit than David was this year. Our displays look phenomenal. Our contractor did a great job, both at Sea Pine Circle and Fraser, and we have displays elsewhere throughout the community. So these will be on through early January, and I hope that they stay on the entire time. A couple of grounds maintenance updates. This is Sea Pine Circle, and I've received a bunch of feedback from property owners. We are not putting anything tall back there to obstruct vision into Sea Pine Circle. So our contractors finished the installation of our fall displays, as well as overseeing our turf areas and around Sea Pine. So that's been in progress. They look great. We had a tremendous turnout of pick up the old flowers over at Lawton Canal, so they went really fast this year. They were gone within every day that we put out flowers. They were gone by that afternoon. So kudos. Open space mulching. We're still working on Sea Pines Drive. We completed Plantation Drive. We're moving over to Lighthouse Road, but I do encourage the property owners to put a call into our office for mulch. We do receive a lot of phone calls, but we do have an overabundance of mulch this year, as from Hurricane Dorian certainly gave us an adequate supply. So do take advantage of this service, and we're happy to coordinate a drop off to your property of this ground mulch. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to our Director of Security, Mr. Toby McSwain. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody.
Good morning. Just a couple of quick updates. It's been busy in the community. The good thing is not really anything of urgency or significant issues taking place. Really kind of a repeat of really what I've said over the last year. The dogs still having issues with pets. You may know, have heard at some of the cocktail parties that we have some owners that have been cited and have gone to court and been found guilty for allowing their animals to run at large. So if you've got plenty of money, we've got plenty of tickets. So you got to keep your pet on your property. What used to happen 20 years ago, that can't happen no more. If your neighbor doesn't want your dog on their lawn, that's the way it is. So please help us with that. Improper dumping. We're still having issues with contractors dumping in the CSA open spaces. It's not for them. We allow them to go into the pit to dump your debris that gets collected from the yards. It's a free service. I don't know if there's too many other communities that allow their contractor to go on site and dump their debris. So if you have a contractor or a landscaper that services your property, please let them know, don't dump their stuff in the CSA sites. Take it to the forest preserve, to the pit. And with that, going back really to the dog issue, the CSA pit sites are not for the dog waste. The maintenance, it's bad enough to deal with that, but we don't want the debris that they're collecting, trying to mulch in the pit. It's with your dog waste. So please, that's not what it's for, and it's against the law to put your dog waste there and into a town drain. We don't want it in the waterway either. So if you have a dog, pick up behind it, take it home with you, put it in your garbage can. That's the best place for it. If you read the Island Packet, which I'm sure many of you probably don't, because I don't, there was a report of an alligator attacking a dog here in Sea Pines. We have not had a property owner come to us that's missing a pet. We do have a cat that has disappeared, but not a dog. We had a property owner that thought he had witnessed an alligator attacking a dog and took it into the lagoon. And we're still working that, but we haven't been notified that someone's missing a pet currently. So with your animals running around your yard, they can run around off the leash in your yard all day long, but be very cautious around the waterways. So these warm temperatures, we still have alligators moving around, and the edge of the lagoon system is not somewhere that you want your animal to be. Please help us spread the word. Electric bikes. We have a company here, two companies now in Sea Pine or in Hilton Head that are selling the electric assisted bikes. I am being told by the town of Hilton Head they are looking to take this matter into consideration. I think we'll probably hear something over the next calendar year of whether or not the town of Hilton Head is going to allow electric assist bikes on the town pathways. I don't really think a lot of this is being enforced. We're finding them in here. Our paths are still the same as Hilton Head. It's self-propelled devices on our leisure paths, but I do look for this to probably change over the next year. Every time you turn around, there's something new that comes out with some electric motor or what have you, but they're not allowed in Sea Pines. So please, if you have renters or you have property that you rent, please let your renters know. Please don't bring those items here to Sea Pines. Parking. The Safety and Security Committee has taken the parking issue and kind of reviewed the entire policy of Sea Pines. There is not a restriction on parking on the shoulder of the road in Sea Pines. If there's a sign that's out that says no parking, that's the only place that there is no parking. So if you live on a street that there's a shoulder that you can pull off of, there's nothing that says you can't park on the shoulder of the road. And when I say that, I really wanted to put a picture up of property owners' guests who parked dang near in the middle of the roadway on Governor's Road. Now, when I say that emergency vehicle has to pass, that doesn't mean the emergency vehicle goes in the opposite lane of traffic to get by you. So please, if you have a party or whatever the case is going to be where you're going to park on the shoulder of the road, the majority of the car has to be off the roadway. It cannot be in the roadway. So we're going to notify you, and then we're going to tow it. So there's nothing else we can do. It creates a safety hazard. So if you got shoulders or you're having a function, please make sure that you get them off the roadway. We don't need it. The trolley schedule for 2020, the regular trolley schedule has been finalized. We are going to print with the new maps. So they'll be out here probably within the next couple of weeks. We're still finalizing the beach shuttle route. I think we've got the dates figured out. Instead of doing some musical lights that we did last year, we're looking to kind of really combine that where we, I don't really want to let the cat out the bag, but I think we're going to initially start here at Seapine Center and then eventually move to Lot 8. We're still trying to work those details out, and hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, we'll have that ironed out. And it would start here and then end up moving to Lot 8. So we'll get that posted. We'll get the maps printed. So if you're in the rental business, you'll have the maps available to you so that you can give to your guests. If you have holiday parties and parking, if you need additional overflow parking, we have all the power lines. Give our office a call there to security. We'll be more than glad. If we got a fence in a location that you could need to put cars in, not a problem. It's open space. That's the best place to use it. You will probably have to shuttle your guests to and from your home, but those right-of-ways are for you to use. I've received a number of phone calls and emails concerning delivery services. We have the Postal Service, Amazon, UPS, all making deliveries on Sundays. I've discussed this with Brett. There is no decision at this time to restrict anyone from making a delivery on a Sunday. And actually, that's probably going to pick up a lot more that now that we're in the holiday season and everyone's trying to get these packages delivered. So I've not been instructed by the CSC board to restrict. I think it's going to be a hard call to call the post office and say, we don't want you delivering in Seapines. And they're just trying to clear out the post office and get the mail to you. So they are in here, and we are not looking to restrict that at this time. You'll see some notifications coming out here very soon about decal renewal. That's not for the property owners just yet. That's really just for the commercial folks that we'll bring them in, get them a new decal. If you have family members that have relative decals, that would apply to them, but not to the property owner. So when you see decal renewal, don't worry about coming to our office. That's not for you just yet. And finally, if you have watched, especially this last Sunday, the FBI, there's several investigations taking place now involving smart TVs. So if you have a smart TV that's connected to the internet that has a camera or a microphone on it, you need to figure out how to turn all that stuff off. You connect anything to the internet, nothing's safe. So apparently now, if you have this TV connected to the internet, someone could figure out a way to turn on your camera and your microphone on your TV and listen to what you're saying. It'd be very interesting in my house. I'm sure it'd be like a real reality TV show, but so be very cautious. Even with the apps on your phone, you need to do some research before you download something to your phone, because any data that you have on your phone, people are very smart. There's a way to figure this stuff out. So be very cautious, especially if you're ordering anything online. Last year, I was just doing some research before I came here today. 65,000 people were victims of scams last year of online, either ordering something that never showed up or using a fake delivery service. So be very cautious before you enter your credit card online, because you never know where it's going to end up at. And with that, that's all I have. I hope all of you have a safe and joyful holiday season. And we'll see you at the beginning of the new year. Thank you.
Thanks, Toby. Okay, I'm just going to go through what's coming out here, which is the residential assessments, and go ahead and put them all up there. So this is how the bills will come, and they should be coming in the next week or two, sending out. The improved lot assessment is now $1,095. There is a credit from Hurricane Matthew of $112.92, and the board approved an additional assessment of Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Dorian of 2280 and 980 for a total net assessment of $1,114.68. They said those bills will be coming out shortly, and they are due on January 10th, 2020. So we should have them out ideally before the 10th of this month as well. So more of that will be coming out. Okay, go forward. I didn't get these slides. Payment plans. Go ahead. Oh, we do have payment plans. Okay. You know, I got Victoria without the slides. So, so we will have information on payment plans if in fact you need that resource to be available to you. Before we conclude today, I did want to talk a little bit about Six Oaks Cemetery, and David didn't mention it, but got some information this week about Six Oaks. And a little over 5 years ago when I arrived at CSA, I found out that we were in charge of Six Oaks Cemetery, which was a surprise. But looking at it at that time, it was really challenging, to say the least. It was well underfunded. It was pretty chaotic, if I might, about the administration and the records that we had, and how we had it designed and how it wasn't designed. So David accepted the challenge of administering Six Oaks and has done a terrific job. I want to let you know that as of Monday, the Perpetual Care Trust Fund exceeded $1 million in deposits. So, I think it was when I got here 5 years ago, it was probably under 500,000. So it's doubled in that time period, under 400,000. Thanks, Dave. Yeah. So, huge accomplishments there. Additionally, yesterday, we had the largest sale ever in Six Oaks Cemetery of $120,000 for a family plot. So, that is going to go a long ways. And a lot of that is due to David's diligent work in organizing and really redeveloping Six Oaks Cemetery. And kudos to both David, John Hunter, as well as the Six Oaks board, who has really done a fine job. And then former members of the Six Oaks board, Dave Borghese, who have done a fine job of really setting Six Oaks on a good path. So with that, I'd like to conclude. For those on the webinar, we'll have question information for you. If you need to send in a question, please do, and Amanda will post that up. And for everybody else, we're staying around, so feel free to come up and ask questions. Thank you.